All right, everybody, welcome into the High Noon stream here on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. I am Pugs Moran, your host. This is the first of two streams that in most days I do too. We do this one here at high noon every Monday through Friday at noon till whenever. And then we come back and we do what we like to call Pugs and Parker proudly present Pillow Talk on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. That comes on at 9 p.m. Central Time, and it's myself and talk radio host James Parker joins me for that. So that's Pugs and Parker. That's 9 o'clock. That's Monday evenings through Thursday evenings. And don't forget, on Monday evenings, we are now joined by a third person, my former radio partner, Kelly Moore. She joins us on the Monday editions of Pugs and Parker proudly present. Actually, we're going to have to change the name. It's going to have to be Pugs and Parker proudly present Pillow Talk on the Radio Misfits podcast platform featuring Kelly Moore. There she is again. It doesn't even fit. Doesn't fit the rhyme, but she's important to the overall process. So how do I make that work? How do I make that sound better? Pugs and Parker proudly present Pillow Talk on the Radio Misfits podcast platform featuring Kelly Moore on Mondays. I don't know. Kelly Moore featuring Kelly Moore Mondays. That fixes it, because although we change from the pop, we do go into a little bit of a Okay, all right, never mind. I'm not going to get bogged down. How are you? Are you enjoying the new camera angle? Yeah, did a little something different with the camera today. Got tired of seeing myself even though I don't like to be on camera. I was finding that I was hiding a little bit behind the microphone, like I was doing the whole show. So then I said, and I didn't really like that. Not that I actually my insecurities liked it, but it was just, it didn't. I don't know. I think so. We're gonna try this. We're gonna try the camera. So when I'm constantly looking at the chat room now, I will also be looking at the camera, at least to some degree. Hi, Byron. Byron's here. Byron says, I have to say that I watched last night's Pillow Talk this morning, and the chat room is very boring without me. It wasn't just you, Byron. The chat room last night, I don't know what happened. What was going on? Was there some big wrestling event? What was happening? There was hardly anybody in the chat room last night for Pugs and Parker proudly present Pillow Talk on the Radio Misfits podcast platform, featuring Kelly Moore Mondays. I don't know what happened last night. And here's the thing. I had received abnormal amounts of, man, the Pillow Talk shows are sounding great. Man, the Pillow Talk shows are really fun. I got, at least, by abnormal, I mean 3 people, but still, nobody ever compliments individual shows. But in the previous days, I'm like, okay, so maybe we're finding our groove with the Pillow Talk show. Maybe we're getting it. And then last night, it was just ugh, God, there was nothing. I'd have begged for a troll. Hi, JBM. JBM's here. It's always good to see her. Jeff's here. My boy Jeff's here. Jeff's going to leave us. Jeff leaves at 2 o'clock to go listen to Parker, which is fine. I just wish maybe I was doing something more compelling at 1:55 that would cause him to stay. But apparently that's my failing. That's something that I have not been good at doing. Let's see who else. We got Al. Hello, my friend. Hello, my amigo, he says. Happy Good Friday. Yeah. Happy Good Friday. Happy Holy Week. Will C is here. Peace to you, brother. Hi, Stacy. That's always. I love having women in the chat room, because you men are just big, sweaty, stinky pigs. It's nice to have ladies. It's nice that I imagine the chat room being an actual room, and it's just it's the way when dudes move into an apartment, and maybe there's a recliner chair, and then there's a TV that's on a box, not even on a TV stand, but then someone gets a girlfriend and all of a sudden curtains appear. That's how I feel about when I see women popping into the chat room. So thank you all for being. Bill's here. What up, Bill? Okay. All right, let's get into what today is. I just noticed something. Oh, this could work. This could work for when my internal monologue takes over. I do this show alone. However, my co-host is my internal monologue, who I call Schizophrenic Me, because he's the voice that has been in my head since the time I was little, reminding me what a loser I am and how awful all of my ideas are. So from time to time, schizophrenic me will pop up. And I just realized that because of my choice of attire today, look, it's like, you do this kind of, how would this work? I guess it would work like this. You suck. That's a dumb idea. And then he can go hide. See, it'd be like that. So like, what? You're really going to say that? My schizophrenic alter ego, schizophrenic me, looks a lot like Harrison Ford, does he not? He does. A young, swarthy Harrison Ford. All right. We'll do what we can with that. All right. Hi, Cheryl. Cheryl's in Canada. Oh my goodness. How's Canada? I love Canada. I know am I not supposed to like Canada? All right, here we go. Oh, now you're going to go into a Canada hot take, aren't you? That's right, schizophrenic me, I am. I love Canada. I love Toronto. It's the only place I've been. But I love Toronto. When I was in Toronto, I was like, this is an American city done properly. Probably because Americans didn't put it together. But I do. I don't hate America. I love America. I love my country. I just, I love my country the way I love my 12-year-old. Unconditionally. But there's room for improvement. That's all I'm saying. Room for improvement. Canada's probably got room for improvement too. It's just I'm not all that familiar with it. But it is nice to have someone from Canada here. I like Canada. What do I like about Canada? Oh, one of my closest friends is a proud Canadian citizen, Dr. Robert Schwartz, who I'm working on a project with that came about that is very interesting. And we will have more on that later. But don't worry. Any projects that I end up doing outside of these two streams that I do each and every day, it's not going to affect these streams. I am dedicated to these. Let's see here. We got hybrid. Oh, we got Kevin, my buddy Kevin. I was thinking about Kevin the other day. Hybrid Life is one of my oldest, closest friends here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We were roommates for a period of time. You know how we were talking about sketchy professions, and I listed personal trainers as some of the sketchiest people I know, but then I immediately corrected myself and said, no, wait a second, though. I have two friends who come from that world who are not sketchy. Hybrid was one of the guys I was telling you about. Remember when I went in and I said, well, he's not really a personal trainer. He works with professional athletes, and he's more of like a sports conditioning and sports, training kind of guy. So yeah, look at this, and now we got Kevin here. So all right, yeah, I was not talking about you. You know that type I was talking about when we were listing sketchy professions. Last night on Pillow Talk, we talked about sketchy professions. I believe that trainers made it. James Parker says public school teachers. He's allowed to have opinion. I didn't push back too much. I think that it's too easy to shit on school teachers, stand-up comedians, who else? Auto mechanics. Who else did we say? I don't know. We came up with a bunch of sketchy professions. All right, let's get into today's show. What we do here on this show is we like to give you a nice little cheat sheet for all the things that are happening today. My purpose for doing this show is I want you at the end of it to go, all right, I feel completely briefed up on what everybody is talking about. These are trending topics. These are headlines. These are current events. These are hot topics. These are anything that people might go, hey, did you hear about? And we don't spend an awful lot of time on any one particular subject. What we do is we run through them. I give you the topic that's trending or the topic that's headlining. I tell you what it's about. I give you a hot take. We move on to the next. There is no discussion. There's no long, drawn out dissection of each and every individual issue. This is just for your own. So you don't run into somebody tonight and they go, hey, did you hear about? And you're like, no, I didn't. You can say, yeah, I did, because I listen to High Noon every Monday through Friday with Pugs Moran. Also, it's High Noon because it comes out at noon. I don't want to get bogged down in some stoner thing. Oh, it's because he talks about current events high. I'm not high. Haven't been high in a long time. Stop that. Not opposed to it. Looking forward to the time, the next time maybe I get high. But again, I don't do any of that stuff. I don't drink. I don't do any of that stuff anymore. A lot of that has to do with financials. A lot of that has to do with the fact that I am in this late stage of life, back to being a struggling artist like I was in the 20s. Oh, you're an artist now. Well, I create things that I don't get paid for. So yeah. All right, let's get into it. We start each and every show with a rundown of not only the headlines. We like to before that we like to talk about what today is, why today is important, what happened in history. We celebrate some birthdays and we mourn some losses, and that's what today is. April the 15th. It is the 105th day of the year. There are 260 days remaining until the end of the year. So if you don't have those New Year's Eve plans yet, remember you are on the clock, people. What is today? National Day of Calendar. Let's check that out. Today's Good Friday. Today is Good Friday. Good Friday is the anchor of Holy Week. Begins in, actually, I was going to say it begins in the Christian religions with Palm Sunday, but I think that's just Catholic. I think that's just a Catholic thing on Palm Sunday. And then we get to Good Friday. Good Friday is, hiccups? No, not going to happen today. I'm not going to allow hiccups to invade this portion of the show. Good Friday, and boy, oh boy, I'm looking outside. I don't know what the weather is, but there was this very bizarre phenomena that I noted from the time that I was very little. Every Good Friday, mid-afternoon to late afternoon, it rains. It rains. And I remember some Catholic, some weird Catholic when I was a little Catholic, somebody said, those are the tears of Mary on the day that her son was crucified. I'm like, oh, cool. More cool, spooky Catholic stuff there. So anyway, it really has, though. My entire life on Good Friday around 3:00. And I noted this as a kid because it was always like after school. It was like school would get out, you'd be in the bus, and the windshield wipers on the bus would be on. And be like, that's Good Friday, 3:00. It's raining. So let's keep an eye on that. It is overcast today. You definitely have some clouds. I don't know if it's going to rain in the next couple of hours, but whatever. Remember, when it does, that's Mary. Happy Good Friday to you. Purple Up Day. April 15th is Purple Up Day. I don't know what that is. Let me see here. Purple Up Day is during the month of the military child. Purple Up Day recognizes some of the military's most unsung heroes, their children. The day encourages everyone to wear purple, representing all branches of the military and showing unity with each other. All right, well, that's nice. That's a nice thing today is Purple Up Day. Wear purple. I've evolved on the color purple. You mean the Spielberg movie? No. I mean the actual color purple. I used to hate the color purple. Hated it. I wasn't a fan. I don't know. I just thought, that's a stupid. Maybe it has something to do with my dislike for all Minnesota sports teams. I don't know. But I never liked the color purple. And then I have a purple shirt now, like a purple toned shirt that I love. So look at me. You can change. Don't let anybody tell you can't. It's National Glazed Spiral Ham Day because, as we noted earlier in the week, ham, the only acceptable meal for Easter dinner. It's National Rubber Eraser Day. Whatever. It's National Take a Wild Guess Day. All right, take a wild guess why today is Take a Wild Guess Day. I'm not going to do it. Not going to participate. Sounds stupid. It's National Tax Day, and it's National Titanic Remembrance Day. We'll get into why that might be so. Coming up here in the big events that occurred on this day in history. In 1861, on this day, President Abraham Lincoln calls for 75,000 volunteers to quell the insurrection that would soon become the American Civil War. That was on this day. Lincoln reacted to the insurrection, and basically the ball started moving in the direction of civil war. 4 years later, in 1865, Abraham Lincoln was dead. That's right. Today is the day that he died. Yesterday, we noted that it was the day he was assassinated at the Ford Theater by John Wilkes Booth. And on this day in history, President Abraham Lincoln, widely considered to be in almost every presidential poll ever done by not talk radio listeners, not people who watch Fox News, actual historians, actual people who understand the day in and day out things that were accomplished. Lincoln is almost always considered the greatest president of all time. So he died today. There you go. And here's the fun part. He was replaced by the guy who those very same historians rank as, maybe until recently, don't get political. Okay, I'm not getting political. the worst president of all time, who is, of course, Andrew Johnson. Andrew Johnson was a dumpster fire of a president. And there you go. He replaced Lincoln. So you go from the good, you go to the bad. On this day in 1892, General Electric is formed. That's right, GE. Born on this day, 1892. On this day in 1912, the British passenger liner, the RMS Titanic, sinks in the North Atlantic at 2:20 a.m., 2 hours and 40 minutes after it hit an iceberg. Only 710 of the 2,224 passengers and crew on board survive. I know that that's a tragedy, but for 1912, I think that's pretty good. It's pretty good that 710 people survived. I am oddly related to a not closely related, but like cousin, distant cousin, came from the same family, came from the same ancestral town, as one of the survivors. The one of the most probably the most famous survivor is, of course, the unsinkable Molly Brown, portrayed by Kathy Bates in the movie Titanic. Her real name, she hails from St. Aubin, Ireland. Originally, her name is Margaret Maggie Tobin. I actually have an aunt named Maggie Tobin. That's right. So there you go. A little Titanic connection between me and the unsinkable Molly Brown. Let's see here. What else happened on this day? 1947, Jackie Robinson debuts for the Brooklyn Dodgers, breaking baseball's color line and fixing racial disharmony for all time. Everything was fine after that. They threw batteries at him. I mean, if we had cell phones, I mean, yes, it was a huge and a monumental day for baseball. I mean, just the idea that they finally, Branch Rickey of the Brooklyn Dodgers, he's the guy that did it. You got to give him all the credit in the world. But it was also undeniable. It was like Jackie Robinson was so good at baseball. He was really good. Like they were like, you know what? I'm willing to have all these people hate me if I can have an infielder like that. I mean, he was really good. He was good. And talk about the shit he went through, man. Oh my, he had to be good. He had to be good, because if he was just like one of the 20 best players in Major League Baseball, it would have been like, never let a black guy play again. But he was so good, the floodgates then opened, and floodgates, boy, that sounds a little racist. Yes, it does, schizophrenic me, but I don't mean it that way. I just mean, Jackie Robinson Day. There you go. Jackie Robinson on this day in 1947 broke the color line. Oddly enough, Jackie Robinson, huge influence. I mean, baseball, Major League Baseball was then, it was common, maybe not so common in the immediate years, but in the ensuing decades, African-American ball players became one of the, I don't think they were ever the dominant race of players playing baseball, but there were a lot of African-American baseball players. And now here we are in 2022, and there's like none. There's like none. There are like, you can count on your hand the amount of African-American Major League Baseball. I'll give you an idea. My Chicago White Sox, we have the only African-American double play combo in baseball in like the last 20 years. Josh Harrison and Tim Anderson. They are like the first two African-American black guys to be on the same. There are no, your baseball team may not have any. I don't know what team you root for. Maybe the Cincinnati Reds. That stands to reason. But yeah, it's African American kids do not play baseball anymore. I mean, it's very rare that kids play baseball anyway. I got a 12-year-old kid who loves baseball because his dad loves baseball, and I've sort of forced him to love baseball. But he's like a weirdo. He's like a weirdo among his friends. Like the fact that he wears baseball jerseys and that he talks about, White Sox games, stuff like that. They don't want to hear that. They're like, what? They don't care. Kids don't care. And although my kid loves baseball and loves watching baseball with me, maybe he just loves that it's a thing that we share together as our special thing. He doesn't play it. I don't think. When he was like 6, I think we went to a batting cage, and that was it. And, I don't even think he knows how to swing. Um, he doesn't have a glove. I mean, here's like the one weird kid, and he's not weird. He's interesting. This makes him interesting and fascinating, unique. The unicorn of the modern Plano 12-year-old who likes baseball. He doesn't have a glove. He doesn't have a glove. I should get him a glove. But then I don't want to play catch with him. Come on, Dad, you want to have a catch? My arm is not good anymore. I'm good for about 4 throws, and then you feel the ow. And it's like, I can't do this. I go to batting cages with him. Told a story. We went to Topgolf last week, and they had batting cages, and I was like, oh, man, we should go in the batting cages. I should teach my kid how to hit a baseball. And then I realized that about 3 years ago, I went to a batting cage at a party. And I was having fun. It was fun. I hadn't been in a batting cage in a long time, but I love batting cages. They're so much fun. And I'm swinging. It took me probably about 5 to 10 pitches to remember exactly how to square up and how to actually make contact. And I was making some contact and I was having some fun. That was on a Saturday. That was on a Saturday evening. I woke up Sunday morning. I thought I was going to have to go to the emergency room. I had busted muscles that I hadn't used in like 25 years. What a mess. Happy Jackie Robinson's Day. Jackie Robinson Day. On this day in 1955, McDonald's opened their very first restaurant. Ray Kroc opened his Des Plaines, Illinois McDonald's, which is the first McDonald's in the world. That's why McDonald's corporate headquarters is right there in Oak Brook, Illinois. I've been to this Des Plaines McDonald's, although now I think it's a museum. I think they turned it into like a McDonald's museum. And yeah, it's not the first McDonald Brothers restaurant. The first McDonald Brothers restaurant, who Ray Kroc stole the idea from, that was in California. But Ray Kroc was a milkshake salesman, and he worked the West Coast, and he sold a bunch of milkshakes to, fast food burger joints and car hops and places like that existed in the 1950s. And he went to this McDonald Brothers restaurant, and he was trying to sell them a milkshake, and he saw the way they were making their hamburgers. They were making them using Henry Ford's assembly line, procedure, which is not how hamburgers were made at these places. And Ray Kroc went, oh my God, you could sell exponentially more food and more if you do it this way. So he entered into a little bit of a deal with the McDonald brothers, and he said, let me build one of these somewhere else. And he built the McDonald's in Des Plaines, Illinois, and then screwed the McDonald brothers. And now we have McDonald's. That's where McDonald's comes from. 1989, the Hillsborough disaster occurred on this day. A human crush occurs at Hillsborough Stadium, home of the Sheffield Wednesdays. They were a Premier League soccer team. Resulting in the deaths of 97 Liverpool fans. That was we've seen that video is like pretty awful. But here's an interesting thing. Whenever you think of the great stadium disasters, we always, people who know about stadium disasters, we ghouls, we always think, oh yeah, Hillsborough. All right, that was terrible. And then you do a little further inspection and you learn that that's not even the worst stadium disaster of all time. That there have been hundreds of people killed in collapsed stadiums and stadium fires in places like Asia and Africa and, the Middle East. These things have happened. It's just this one happened to white people in England. So this is the one we all know about. That's not social commentary. That's just interesting. I just think that's interesting. Hillsborough disaster on this day in 1989. 2013, on this day, 2 bombs exploded near the finish line at the Boston Marathon in Boston, killing 3 people and injuring 264 others. That's the Boston Marathon bombing occurred on this day. And I'll tell you, for the following 4 days or 3 days, I was glued to cable news. It's these kinds of situations. You know how I feel about cable news. I hate cable news. It's not cable news. It's cable divisive politics. That's all it is. Whether you're watching MSNBC, Fox News, or CNN, it isn't news they're giving you. They're not telling you about, issues having to do with, crime or issues having to do with disasters or any kind. It's all politics. It's all, which team are you on? And here's why your team is right. That's all cable news is now. I watch this and they'll go in for hours on just like really microscopic bullshit divisions between Congress people. They'll spend hours on it. And I'm like, there's other news happening. There's things. There was like a pileup in Utah that you guys haven't even mentioned. There was it's terrible. Anyway, it was on this day in 2013 when this tragedy occurred. And then the ensuing manhunt for the Tsarnaev brothers, Dzhokhar and Tamerlane, that was real news. That was real breaking, unfolding news. Oh, and it was so compelling. That was crazy. I mean, I remember watching the Charlestown shootout. I remember when was it Cambridge University? Cambridge University security guard was killed by Tamerlane, and then that started a car chase that ended in Charlestown, and then there was a shootout, and it was in the relative early days of like everybody streaming live video and having cameras and all that kind of stuff, and the people in the neighborhood were all filming it as it was going on, as they were having. We saw Tamerlane Tsarnaev be run over and killed in the streets. I mean, it was crazy. And then, of course, Dzhokhar disappeared. And I think Dzhokhar was found the next day in a boat hiding in one of the neighborhoods over there. That was, woo, Patriot. Have you seen Patriot Games? Patriot Games is a good movie. Maybe I enjoy it because I followed that story so closely. That was on this day in 2013. Man, 7, 8, 9 years ago. Doesn't feel like it, does it? We're getting old, people. We're getting old. What else happened here? On this day in history, 2019, the Cathedral of Notre Dame de Paris in France is seriously damaged by a large fire. I remember watching that too. Oh, the unfolding in the afternoon hours of this day in 2019. Just watching an historic work of human art just go up in flames on live TV. It was pretty interesting. Okay, let's do some birthdays. Who's celebrating birthdays today? Elizabeth Montgomery was born on this day, born in 1933. She died in 1995. I mention her because, as I've stated numerous times on this show, she is, for some odd reason, like my first crush. My first crush was Elizabeth Montgomery. Samantha from Bewitched. Remember the show Bewitched? Samantha the witch. She was married to Darren. She was the mother of Tabitha. Oh, she was cute. And she died. Born on this day in 1947, Linda Bloodworth Thompson, American screenwriter and producer, television creator, one of the most appreciated and lauded television creators of, the last half century or so. Never saw any of her shows. Why? Because she did dumb ones. She did like Designing Women. I'm not watching Designing Women. She did Evening Shade. I'm not watching Evening Shade. I didn't, but hey, as someone who in my fantasy alter universe, alter reality, I am a very successful television creator. I respect her because of that. Emma Thompson, born on this day in 1959, actress, comedian, author, activist, screenwriter. Emma Thompson did a whole bunch of those like Jane Austen movies. She's British. She's a big star, but I'm not all that familiar with her body of work. Born on this day in 1966, someone whose body I'm very familiar with. Born on this day in 1966, Samantha Fox. Remember Samantha Fox? She was like a one-hit wonder, like back in the late 80s, early 90s. Oh, man, was she fabulous. What was her song? What song did Samantha Fox do? Hold on. I'm sorry. What was her song? She had like one song, right? What was it? So let's see here. Samantha Fox. Oh, Touch Me Now. Okay, how did that go? Let's see if we remember. No, I don't care. Here we go. Let's see. Yeah, Samantha Fox was.
Touch me.
I want to feel your body. Right? That is
it. Touch me. I want to feel your body.
Yeah, that's her. All right, Samantha Fox, born on this day in 1966. Oh, man. She was something else. And I just looked at her in the video, She wasn't really all that. I don't know. Maybe she was 80s hot. Is that a thing? I think that might be a thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. She looked good, but I was distracted by the 80s hair and all that. But, Happy birthday, Samantha Fox. Born on this day in 1966. She never did anything else. Born on this day in 1971. Jason Sehorn, American football player. The guy I had brunch next to. Yeah, he was married to a lady who lives right down the block. They're not married anymore. Who was he married to? Angie Harmon. Remember her from Law and Order? Angie Harmon and Jason Sehorn. They lived here in Dallas and they were married. And now Angie lives right down the block. I jog by her house all the time. I was at Breadwinners once, I don't know, like 15 years ago, having brunch, and I looked over at the next table over, and it's the Law and Order lady and famed New York Giant Jason Sehorn sitting right there having brunch. That's the whole story I got for you. Other than, didn't Jason Sehorn's career essentially end because they decided to let him try to return kickoffs? I think that's a real thing. I think that he wasn't a kick returner, but he was really fast. And so they went, but he was he a corner? Was he a cornerback or was he a safety? I don't know what he was. Anyway, they thought, hey, let's put him back there to return a kickoff. And, he might be good. What's the worst that can happen? Well, he busted his knee. He was never good anymore. Oops. Jeff Glenn says that my first TV crush was Agent 99, Barbara Feldon, followed closely by Barbara Eden. Yeah, Barbara Eden was Jeannie, and that's a big, look, obviously, the hack comparison is, for us oldsters, was, were you a Ginger or a Marianne guy? And, I'm more of a Ginger guy. I know a lot of people are like, I like Marianne. Ginger would rock your world, man. Mary Ann, are you kidding me? Mary Ann was cute and she was pretty, but she's like the girl next door. Mary Ann was gettable. If we're living in a fantasy world, the only acceptable answer is sex bomb movie star Ginger. What? This is a fantasy, people. It's a fantasy. It's not like she's gonna say no. So the other big debate growing up was always, are you a Samantha from Bewitched, or are you a Genie from I Dream of Jeannie? And I was Samantha. I thought Jeannie was giving it all away. I thought Jeannie was Jeannie dressed really provocatively. It was too easy. It was like, okay, yeah. But Samantha, and by the way, as far as powers go, it's pretty much the same, right? I mean, Jeannie could grant wishes, but Samantha could make anything. She could cast spells. So that's a wash as far as having a girlfriend that could, make your life easier. I think I just found Samantha more attractive than Jeannie. And that is not to say I didn't find Jeannie wildly attractive. Of course she was, but there you go. So just in case you're taking notes, I am a Ginger enthusiast in the Ginger versus Marianne. Again, it's a fantasy. What? She's a sex bomb. What? You're gonna go with the girl that works at the Tasty Freeze? I'm going with the Hollywood sex bomb every time, as long as we're talking about a fantasy. And Samantha versus Jeannie. I go Samantha every time. Born on this day in 1978, country music singer, songwriter, one hell of a beard. Guy can pull off a cowboy hat. Chris Stapleton. Chris Stapleton was born on this day in 1978. Saw Chris Stapleton once. Don't particularly like country music. Actually, the way I should say that is, it's not that I don't like country music. I love, there are certain country music artists who I really like. I really like Merle Haggard. But see, I like the class. I like the whole genre of 68 through 75 outlaw country. Like that's the stuff. When you hear that stuff, you're like, man, that stuff's cool. I'm not a big fan of like the whole Nashville country thing. And when I saw Chris Stapleton, I was like, oh, okay, this is not that. This is actually kind of cool. This guy's actually really great. So happy birthday, Chris Stapleton, born on this day in 1978. Born on this day in 1982. Happy birthday, Seth Rogen. Oh, the laugh. Enjoy the laugh. It's the most infectious, joyous laugh I have ever heard. Seth Rogen, actor, director, producer. We could just do the entire show with this as the soundtrack. All right, that's enough. I love Seth Rogen. I love everything about him. First time I became aware of Seth Rogen was Freaks and Geeks. God, that was a good show. He was not a standout in Freaks and Geeks. If you had said to me, pick one person from the Freaks and Geeks cast that is going to go on to be a big star, I probably would have said, I probably would have gone with James Franco. But Seth Rogen is absolutely the biggest star of the people. My God, you want to talk about a guy who creates TV. Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, his writing partner and producing partner. Just about every other show that I see that I like on TV is produced by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. And then on top of that, he's like a big A-list movie star. He does big movies. He gets big paychecks. I like Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen seems like a really good dude. Also, what podcast did I hear him on? I don't know if it was Armchair Expert or Smartless. I think maybe it was Armchair Expert. That's the Dax Shepard hosted podcast. What an interesting guy. What an interesting background. Fascinating dude. Seth Rogen is really an interesting guy. Let's see. What else do we need? Born on this day in 1990, finally. Last birthday we'll be celebrating. Emma Watson. She is, of course, someone I barely know who she is. But I know she's a Harry Potter girl, and I know she's incredibly important to a younger demographic. Dead on this day. Let's do some deaths here. We only got 3 to get through. We got Greta Garbo. She died on this day in 1990. Who's Greta Garbo? You never heard of Greta Garbo, right? Well, that's on you. Greta Garbo is, I think it was AFI who put her at like number 5 greatest actress of all time. And she hasn't even done a movie since like 1950. Greta Garbo was she's like the Meryl Streep, basically, of like the early age of films. And I've never honestly seen a Greta Garbo movie. So I don't know. Can't imagine that I'd be interested in anything she's done. But she's interesting because Greta Garbo just, like at the height of her fame, just went, I'm done. Like in 1947, she's like, yeah, I know. I'm still like in my mid 30s and I'm still gorgeous and I'm like the best actress that's around, but I'm done. And she disappeared, basically. It would be like if, I don't know, who's like the most, Jessica Chastain. She's the most recent Best Actress winner. It'd be like if Jessica Chastain just like today said, yeah, I'm done. I'm going away and you're never going to see me again. And I'm going to live for another 70 years. And you people are never going to hear from me again. And that's what Greta Garbo did. She went into a life of seclusion and she was hunted by paparazzi. Every time she went out for a walk in New York City, it was like paparazzi would just follow her everywhere. Like 40 years after, because she never did interviews. She never talked to anybody. She never did anything. She probably, now people are saying, and there's been a lot written about her, she probably was severely affected by depression. Some people even say bipolar disorder, that she wasn't really good. And also, and here's something that is absolutely true. I mean, everybody talks about it. They talk about it now. They didn't talk about it then. She's a lesbian. She was a lesbian. So she was like, she got out of beautiful 1930s lesbian, but she got out of the business and she's like, yeah, I can't. Because they used to put her with dudes for like openings and stuff. And she had this like long, funny relationship with like some other male actor, film star of the era, John Gilbert, I think was his name or something. And it was like, oh, the love story between John Gilbert and Greta. And she was just like, yeah, he's a nice dude, but he's gay, he's gay. I'm gay. They're just putting us together so that people won't know that we're gay. Some people say that she was bisexual because she actually may have had a relationship with a man at some point. But for the most part, she had longtime live-in female companions, if you know what I mean. Greta Garbo died on this day in 1990. Joey Ramone died on this day in 2001. One of my great achievements in raising my son. I always talk about how I feel that my son's cultural education is one of the most important things to me. I don't get to do a lot of the heavy lifting. His mother and stepfather doing a wonderful job of that stuff. But when I do spend time around him, I try to work in different areas, maybe areas that you know don't get all that much attention. His cultural education is a very big deal to me, and one of my great achievements is that from a very early age, I turned my 12-year-old son into a raging Ramones fan. Loves the Ramones. 10 years old, this kid could sing every word to Blitzkrieg Bop. He knew every word. I'm very proud of that. Joey Ramone. The late, great Joey Ramone died on this day in 2001. Dead on this day in 2018, R. Lee Ermey. Remember R. Lee Ermey? R. Lee Ermey, most famous, I think. Well, he did a lot of war movies. He was the drill sergeant. He yelled at people all the time. Full Metal Jacket, I think is the one that he was most famous for. And then he had a bunch of shows on Discovery and A&E, anything that appealed to guys who liked military talk. He was that guy. I had the opportunity to interview R. Lee Ermey a number of times. Really nice guy, really good interview, really fun. But it's probably best that he went when he did, because I don't think that these times were built for a man like R. Lee Ermey. I don't know that he'd be real comfortable in the whole, woke culture or politically correct. He was already, I guess, alive during political correctness, but you know what I'm saying. All right, let's get into the things that are trending. This is the bulk. This is the meat and potatoes of what we do here every day on High Noon. By the way, our show does exist due to your kindness. It's middle of the week, middle of the month. At the end of the month, we got to make our bills. That's how we get this show going. We have received, although we did go up like $25. We were $25 to the plus at the end of last month. So we started this series of fundraising for the monthly shows. We started $25, above. So, we need to make like less than $500. No, we got 2 weeks to do it. I don't want to do like last month. We're in the final 4 days. I was like pleading because I hadn't reminded people that if you want to tip the show, treat me like your barista, treat me like your bartender, throw a couple of bucks so that we can continue to do the show. You can do it by using any of the things that you see there on the bottom of the screen that says help the show continue streaming. We've received nothing so far this month, but that's because, I spent the first 12 days of the month not saying anything, because it's an unfortunate reality that we do not choose to do this show with sponsors. We do not choose to do this with any kind of phony endorsements. We like to just keep it in-house and do it amongst ourselves. So anything you can do, please help out, and that's enough of that. Let's go to the headlines. Elon Musk, for the third straight day, is trending. Okay. Yesterday it was trending because, remember, he threatened to take over Twitter. He was like, I'm just going to buy Twitter. And he made an offer in cash to just buy Twitter outright. It was a very good offer. It was an offer that the board of directors of Twitter had to take seriously. And so everybody was freaking out. Elon Musk is going to buy Twitter and he's going to ruin it. He's going to turn it into Parler. All that stuff was going on. There was even a movement yesterday to bring back MySpace because, so I've been very clear on my thoughts about Elon Musk. I think that Elon Musk may, in fact, be part alien. I do not know that he is a benevolent alien. I don't think that. I don't think that Elon Musk is a particularly good or decent person. I think that he doesn't really care much for anybody but himself, which is probably how you get to be the richest man in the world. Hey, whatever. That's never going to be me because I care about you. I guess what I'm saying is I'm not, there are a lot of Elon Musk fanboys out there. And there are also a lot of Elon Musk detractors out there. People, he's the evilest thing ever. He's the greatest thing ever. I would say that I'm in the middle on Elon Musk. I find him curiously interesting. I find him. I think he's weird. I think he's weird. I mean, he's a weird guy. But anybody with that much money is going to be a weird guy to someone like myself and to you. We just can't relate. We can't relate to what he was going to buy Twitter with cash. I mean, could you imagine being stuck in an elevator with him? I mean, it would be unbearable. He's just not of the same cloth as the rest of us. So why is Elon Musk trading today? Because Elon Musk in the past 24 hours is no longer the largest shareholder of Twitter. That's right. He made the offer to buy Twitter in cash, and the Twitter board went, all right, we're going to have to consolidate some shit here. We got to make sure that he isn't the most powerful guy here in the room anymore. So Vanguard Group has now acquired a 10.3% stake in Twitter. This according to an SEC filing this morning. Vanguard Group is now the largest shareholder and owner of Twitter. Elon Musk has a 9.2% stake. That made him the largest single holder of shares in Twitter. But now Vanguard Group is in charge to a 10.3% stake. Musk said on Thursday, late last night, that he's, quote, not sure if his $43 billion takeover bid for Twitter will be successful now. It's because they're working against him. They're working to, he's got, that's not a whole 9.2. I mean, it's a lot of Twitter because there's a lot of people that consider themselves tiny percentage owners of Twitter. So 9.2 is a lot. But if the climate in the Twitter boardroom is that Elon Musk sucks, then those board members who, individually have, well, I've got 4% of Twitter. Well, I've got 6%. Well, all they have to do is consolidate. All they have to do is come together. And then all of a sudden, Elon's paltry 9.2% stake in Twitter isn't really as powerful as it once was. So that's kind of what's going on. He's engaging in what is known as a hostile takeover. It is a legitimate offer. Because they are a publicly traded company, Twitter has to take the offer seriously. Those are SEC rules. Shareholders must be considered if he is offering above the trading price, and he is. So, there you go. But now he's no longer the number one shareholder. So we'll see. We'll see if Vanguard Group now comes up with another order, but another offer. But God, geez Louise, man. Musk's got almost $300 billion. I mean, he's like in the $200 billion plus range. He's like $262 billion, something like that. Do you really want to get into a bidding war with him? Especially when you consider the next richest person is only like 100 something. He's not just the richest person in the world. He is the richest person in the world by miles. By miles. I mean, we drop to our knees and freak out with seizures when we consider the prospect of having $100 million. And then we see somebody like a Mark Cuban, who we think, well, he's like the richest guy in the world. Mark Cuban is only worth like $4 billion. Elon Musk is worth 200. You're doing stupid math, aren't you? Yes, I am. Mark Cuban is, it's like if you had, okay, it's like, hi, I'm Mark Cuban, I've got $4. And then Elon Musk walks into the room and he's like, I've got $262. That's the difference. That's the difference between how much money Mark Cuban has. And we still look at Mark Cuban like he's this unbelievable, godlike billionaire. Elon Musk is so freaking rich, it's dangerous. All right, speaking of that, we've been focusing the last couple of days since the Forbes list came out. The new updated Forbes list of American billionaires came out. And I've been talking. I'm fascinated by this stuff because everybody who knows me knows that although I do this show from the beautiful Comfort Nest Guesthouse Studios here high atop the 1% compound in Highland Park, Texas, I am in the thick of it. I am surrounded by the 1%er class, and you all know that I hate them. I don't hate rich people. I don't hate successful people. I hate people who have acquired wealth to a pornographic degree, to a degree that is just grotesque. Like, what? Seriously? There are people living under bridges blocks from here, and you've got $5 billion that you're just sitting on? Do something, you piece of human garbage! But then how would I own 48 private jets and 62 ski homes? Well, that's true. I guess you're right. You can't do both. But you can! Because $1 billion buys a whole lot of tents, buys a whole lot of meals. Oh boy, there you go. You're getting off on a liberal rant. Yeah. Well, if that's a liberal rant, because I am not a liberal. That is not a liberal rant. It's Good Friday, for crying out loud. The dude that a lot of you people call a savior died for your sins today. And I got dudes a couple blocks away just committing ungodly monetary sins every day. We're not going to get into it. I do hate rich people, but at the same time, I am fascinated by them. It's like when I go out here in the neighborhood, I'm doing my 2 to 3 miles a day, jog through the neighborhood here. I may as well be jogging through a zoo. The way that I look at these people and their houses and their servants coming and going, and there was a house. I don't know. It's probably a $15 million house that I was running by yesterday up here at the corner of Beverly and Preston. And I'm running by this house, and they were having some kind of a get together. I don't know. Maybe the boys were coming over to play cards. And they had 5 valet dudes in their driveway. Now, it's a driveway that's, probably 3 football fields long. But still, it was like outside their big palatial gates, there's like 5 dudes wearing red valet jackets. And I'm like, holy shit, this is just next level. I live in a guest house. Oh, by the way, one of these houses that I was looking at, they have the house itself is 27,000 square feet. The house is 27,000 square feet. The pool house is 5,000 square feet. And the guest house is 8,000 square feet. An 8,000 square foot guest house. The house here at the main house here at the 1%er compound isn't 8,000 square feet. The house here is like maybe 5. I don't know. 8,000. All right. So a list came out. WFAA put this out today, and it's trending, at least locally. Richest Texans. Okay. You ready here? Actually, these are not the richest Texans. These are the richest people in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and how much they have. Incidentally, on the Texas list, the richest people, do you know we have a new richest citizen of Texas? Do you know who that is? Well, you should, because we just talked about him. Elon Musk. That's right. He officially changed his residency to Austin, Texas. Elon Musk, the richest person in the world, is now the richest person in Texas as well. He took the place of Michael Dell, also an Austin resident, Michael Dell of Dell Computers, who was previously the richest man in Texas. But this list is about the richest people here in my neighborhood, which is why I'm interested in it. Although the number one that comes in doesn't live in this neighborhood. Who is the richest person in Texas or in North Texas? The richest person here in North Texas is worth $65.3 billion. Again, if you're thinking, well, Mark Cuban's got to be one of the richest guys. No, he's not. Mark Cuban's worth like $4 or $5 billion. The richest person in North Texas is worth $65.3 billion. And it's a she. She's also the richest person the richest female in America. She lives in Fort Worth, and she is Alice Walton. That's right. Heir to the Walmart fortune. I know that we all think of that as an Arkansas company, but old Alice is living here in Fort Worth, and she's lived here for quite a long time. Alice Walton is the heiress to the mega retailer Walmart. Her residence is listed as being in Fort Worth. She is currently the richest woman in the United States, according to the current Forbes list. She is worth $65.3 billion. Coming in number 2, richest North Texans. How about them Cowboys? That's right. Jerry Jones comes in second. $10.6 billion. That's right. He's number 2. The number 1 in North Texas is worth 6 times what Jerry Jones is. Number 1 in North Texas is worth 6 times what number 2 is worth. Alice Walton is worth $65 billion. Jerry Jones is worth $10.6 billion. Jerry Jones, owner of the Dallas Cowboy, made his money in oil and drilling and in investments. And how about them Cowboys? Jerry Jones coming in at number 2 in North Texas at $10.6 billion. Number 3 is my neighbor right down the street, Andrew Beal. He of the Beal Bank. You've seen Beal Bank. Andrew Beal. Actually, Andrew Beal has, because I looked this up, Andrew Beal owns like 5 homes in this immediate area. He owns another one in Preston Hollow. Dude's got like 6 $25 to $100 million mansions, all within like the same zip code. That's too much money. Too much money. Andrew Beal is the 3rd wealthiest North Texan. The Highland Park resident is worth $9.9 billion. Beal is the founder of Beal Financial Group and Beal Bank. He calls Dallas home. All right. Who's next? Here's 4. Ray Lee Hunt. He's worth $6.5 billion. Another Highland Park resident. The SMU grad is the son of oil tycoon H.L. Hunt and his Hunt Oil Company, which is headquartered in Dallas. It is the largest privately held oil company in the United States. Ken Fisher comes in next. Don't know who he is. He's worth $5.3 billion. He is Dallas resident Ken Fisher. He founded Fisher Investments in 1979. Robert Bass of the Bass Brothers, Bass Hall and all that. He's on this list. He comes in at $5.1 billion, another Fort Worth native. So there you go. Fort Worth checking in with 2. Number 1, Alice Walton. And number 5, Robert Bass. Number 6, here we go. Here's our boy, Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban comes at $4.7 billion. Mark Cuban's net worth is $4.7 billion. The Preston Hollow resident. Preston Hollow is like the next neighborhood over. The Dallas Mavericks owner sold his website, broadcast.com, to Yahoo for $5.7 billion in 1999. The Shark Tank star also has investments in numerous companies, including Magnolia Pictures and AXS TV. All right, so wrap your mind around that. In 1999, he sold his company, broadcast.com, to Yahoo for $5.7 billion. And we all know the juggernaut that Yahoo's broadcast.com became. I mean, it was like a total, what? That company doesn't even exist anymore. They gave him $5.7 billion 23 years ago. 23 years ago, they gave Mark Cuban $5.7 billion. And although we gotta think about this now, guys. Even though he's a genius businessman. Why is he only worth 4.7 now? Why has he lost $1 billion over the course of the last 23 years? I like Mark Cuban. I do. I enjoy him. God love him. If he wants to lose $1 billion, he could lose $1 billion. Hell, he could lose another $4 billion and he'd still be worth $700 million. But he had $5.7 billion in 1999. That's like $10 billion today. He had $5.7 billion in 1999, and now he's only got $4.7 billion. And it's not like, well, times are tough. No, it's not. No, they are not. They are not tough for the billionaire class. The billionaire class, we did that thing last night. Remember yesterday where I told you on the Forbes list, they talked about what these billionaires were worth in 2012 versus what they're worth now. I think Elon Musk, who is now worth $262 billion, 10 years ago was only worth $62 billion. He amassed in 10 years like $200 billion. And so did Mark Zuckerberg. And so did Jeff Bezos. Like all of these people on the list of people who were billionaires 10 years ago have exponentially grown their wealth over the last 10 years. But somehow the Shark Tank genius, Mark Cuban, figured out a way to lose $1 billion from 1999. I kid Mark Cuban. He could buy and sell me and destroy me. All right. The rest is Trevor Rees-Jones, another Highland Park native. Don't know who he is. Robert Rowling. Don't know who he is. $4.5 billion. David Bonderman. $4.5 billion. W. Herbert Hunt, another one of these oil people, Highland Park residents. $4.3 billion. Then we get into Margot Perot. She's worth $4.3 billion. Kelsey Warren is worth $4 billion. Sid Bass, another of the Bass brothers, is worth $3.4 billion. H. Ross Perot Jr. is worth $3.2 billion. There you go. Those are the wealthiest, that's trending today locally, wealthiest North Texans. Oh God, really? We're gonna get into this again? Bill Gates is trending now. Hey, talking about another. Trust me, we'll get into more relatable subject matter. All I can do is tell you what's trending. That's all I can do. Bill Gates is trending today. Bill Gates is trending because he has some pretty controversial views on cows. Bill Gates views cows as a huge climate change threat and suggests that all rich countries should move to 100% synthetic beef. I don't know, man. We're a couple of years into this weird experiment of impossible beef. I've never had one of those impossible beef things. I tried a Boca burger like 15 years ago, and I decided not for me. So I don't know if this stuff's any better. I don't know. Yeah. See, Jeff says, talk about evil Bill Gates. Are you kidding me? This is a guy that is actually using it. The dude cured polio in Africa, Jeff. How do you define evil? First of all, yeah, evil. All billionaires are evil. I mean, we'll give you that. But I mean, as far as like the rundown of what billionaires have done with their money, yeah, I do not put Bill Gates in the evil class. I don't think it's the same thing. Jeff and I need to go out for beers and have a conversation about this stuff. So anyway, Bill Gates wants all developed nations to move towards synthetic beef, which is like, what? I'm sorry, Bill. You and your weird robot house. I don't need your advice on burgage. Adam Rain and I in the chat room, we had a nice little argument about burgers this morning. We disagree. What a surprise. My old friend Adam and I disagree on hamburgers. Although, we are both heavy-set gourmands who enjoy food. So in this category, like I respect his opinion because he's a heavy guy. I'm a heavy guy. We both know obviously what tastes good and what doesn't. It's a subjective conversation to have. So, we can have our differences, but still, it's not like some skinny person coming to me telling me this is the best hamburger. No, get out of here, skinny person. You don't even know. You have no clue. Let's see. Jeff says, last I checked, synthetic meat was $700 a pound. Well, Jeff, that is a problem. There's a problem. $700 a pound. I'm Jeff, you and me, let's just at our next barbecue that we have together. Let's stick to blood red ground beef. Let's just do that. None of that pink stuff either. None of that poor people pink gross stuff. Al says, helping the water crisis in Africa. Yeah, that's the other thing that Bill Gates is doing, man. The dude is like taking all of his money and he's legitimately putting it into making life better for the worst among us. And by among us, I don't mean, the homeless guy in the corner. I mean globally. I mean, like I don't know. I mean, I think he's weird, and I think that there's probably a whole bunch of creepy things going on there. But I think that of all people who have amassed fortunes of over X dollars, I think that they're just weird. But at least, I mean, it is documented, well documented that Bill Gates, his billionaire list where he's challenging, that's a incredibly great thing. His, you can't take it with you list, where he's going to pledge his entire fortune when he dies to all of these causes that are going to make life better for other people. And he's challenging other billionaires to join the list. That's, if you're cynical, you might go, oh, that's probably just PR. Well, I don't know. Maybe it is, but it's also something that has already been put into action. I mean, people on the billionaires list have died and all of their money have gone to these causes. So yeah, what Al says, he's one of the good Davos guys, right? I mean, when he's raping children, he at least feels a little bad about it. That was a joke. Bill Gates can sue me. No problem. I'm suggesting I'm playing into a well-established social conspiracy that Davos is populated by pedophiles. I don't think that in any way, shape, or form my comment suggesting that Bill Gates feels bad when they're raping children could in any way, shape, or form be taken seriously, because I played that. There you go. Your Honor, I rest my case. And I'll still end up losing everything. Okay, so Bill Gates is trending. The baby is trending. The baby. I don't even know who actually, I shouldn't say that. I do know who the baby is. The baby is a hip hop star. The only reason I know he is because my 12-year-old likes the baby. And every time he plays a the baby song, I always say, "Hey, is this the baby?" I say it like that. He's like, "Quit saying it like that. What's the matter? You don't like that I say the baby?" I don't even know how it started. It's just how I say it. But the baby is trending. This just popped up. I had to add this onto the rundown because this just popped up in my timeline good 10 minutes before we started the show today. The baby shot somebody, blew him away. It's a man was shot outside rapper DaBaby's home in North Carolina on Wednesday. The man was trespassing. Police have not released the shooter's identity. TMZ reported that it was DaBaby that pulled the trigger. The rapper DaBaby shot a man outside his home in Troutman, North Carolina, citing unnamed law enforcement sources. Troutman police reported the shooting but have not released the name of the shooter, although everybody is saying it's DaBaby who shot him. Officers responded to a 911 call around 7:45 p.m. local time Wednesday evening where they found an injured man on the property's extensive grounds. Police said that the man who was shot was not welcome there, KTLA reported. He sustained a non-life-threatening wound to his lower body and was taken to the hospital. Police Chief Josh Watson said that only DaBaby, the trespasser, and another unnamed person were present at the scene. No charges have been filed as of late Thursday. They got I'm sure North Carolina is one of them states. Come on my property, boy, I blow you away. What is that? The Castle Doctrine, stand your ground, whatever. He's not going to get any trouble for this. He's a rich guy in a very big mansion in a rich guy neighborhood. And somebody broke onto his property and DaBaby shot him dead. You can do that. According to KTLA, the compound has high walls and a sign outside that reads, "We have guns and shovels." I like it. Yeah, don't come on my property. I don't know if you're aware, this is where DaBaby lives. You don't come on his property. Citing anonymous sources, TMZ reported that the property was registered in the name of one of DaBaby's family members and that he stays there when he's in North Carolina. Police did not confirm the owner of the property. So this isn't even like his main house. He just like bought it for one of his family members or whatever, and he stays there when he's in North Carolina. I couldn't name one of his songs, and yet he has houses, everywhere? He's apparently, did you ever see, now I know that I'm a middle-aged white guy who doesn't particularly care for contemporary hip-hop music other than the stuff I'm exposed to by my 12-year-old son, who is crazy for it. You ever look at these guys and go, how do they afford all this stuff? I've never heard of this person before. But then I guess, I have that same thing happening with YouTubers. It's like, you see this YouTuber that I've never heard of just purchased a 40,000 square foot Malibu mansion. And I'm like, what? From YouTube? I do YouTube. Where's my money? All right, so that's why DaBaby is trending. All right, let's see what else is happening. Okay, here's another thing that was trending locally. Actually, I should have done this before DaBaby story, but I placed it in the wrong position. Kelvin Joseph, Dallas Cowboys cornerback, is being sought by police in relation to a shooting. This happened a while back. Sources: police seek to speak with Dallas Cowboys Kelvin Joseph in connection to fatal shooting. Joseph, second round, he wasn't a first rounder, second rounder corner last year, maybe the year before. I don't know. He's a promising young player. He where did he go? Where's he from? He's not from UT. LSU, maybe? I think, why does LSU... Well, let's see. Police want to speak with Dallas Cowboy cornerback Kelvin Joseph in connection with a shooting death last month in Lower Greenville. Cameron Ray, who was 20, was fatally shot after a March 18th altercation with a group of individuals that appeared to include Joseph, a second-round pick. Oh, here we go. Second-round pick of the Dallas Cowboys last year. All right, second round. In video footage obtained by KDFW TV in Dallas, one of those involved in the altercation was wearing a YKDV necklace. Kelvin Joseph goes by the rap name YKDV Boss Man Fat. Well, not only is that way too long for my tastes, there's no iambic pentameter to that name. There is no alliteration to that name. Really? YKDV Boss Man Fat. That's not a good name. That is, we got to take it back to the lab, put pen to a pad, and I want you to rework that name, Kelvin. More footage goes on to show shots coming from an SUV as Ray and his friends walked to their vehicle after the altercation. Cowboys didn't have comment. They never do they? They never do. You think if there's one team in the league, maybe the Raiders, that have like experience dealing with degenerate and ne'er-do-well players, you'd think it would be the Cowboys. They do, and that's why they know not to say anything. Detective Tanya McDaniel told KDFW that Ray and 3 friends were in Dallas for a weekend and that they were not responsible for the incident that preceded the shooting. Police have been working to identify the group seen in the surveillance video, including the man wearing the YKDV necklace. Kelvin Joseph started his college career at LSU. That was a guess. Before playing one season in Kentucky. Okay, see, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I just guessed LSU. I assumed that he was a player from around here. Anyway. Joseph appeared in 10 games last season and made 2 starts as a rookie. He was credited with 13 tackles and 2 pass deflections. Here's what I love about the Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? Oh, shut up, Jerry. Jerry with all your money. You know what, Jerry? Does it bother you that there's a woman in this same area that is like 10 times richer than you? I bet it does. So one of the fun things about the Cowboys is they don't have any hang-ups about the moral ambiguity of their players. Like, they don't care. That's what's his vertical? What's his 40? We don't care. What? He beats up women and steals cars? That's okay. What's his 40 time again? I mean, the Cowboys, this guy, you can get me going on my hot takes on professional athletes, especially football players. Actually, I'll give you my pecking order. I'll give you my pecking order of the most objectionable professional athletes. And by objectionable, I don't mean that they are criminally minded. I just mean the biggest dicks. The biggest freaking dicks in all of pro sports. Are you ready? Number 1, Major League Baseball players. Major League Baseball players, look, I have worked in media in major markets that have all of the major teams represented, all the major sports leagues represented. I have had to sit down. I've had to be social with. I have had to do professional interviews. I have had to experience what these people are like in real life. And in my determination, professional baseball players are the worst. Here's the exception. If they're like some dude if they're like under the age of like 25 and from some hillside in Costa Rica, then they're fine. But they don't speak English well. So, they typically, you get them with a translator but they're not. But man, I am telling you, you get yourself, not going to go into it. Baseball players suck. Second on the pecking order, NBA basketball players. And honestly, NBA basketball players are neck and neck with Major League Baseball players. Arrogant, entitled. They think they are gods. And maybe that just comes from spending their whole life walking around at 6'10". I don't know. But they are terrible. Then pro football players. But there's not a whole lot of separation, though, to be honest with you, between how arrogant, entitled, and assholey Major League Baseball players, NBA players, and NFL football players are. They're all terrible. And then you get like then you just have to, by process of elimination, you have to move hockey players in there. Hockey players don't have a problem with hockey players. A lot of hockey players, especially the ones from Canada, they don't even know they're famous. They don't even, they're not entitled because they're like, nobody cares about hockey, really. It's And you know what? Note to the baseball players. Nobody cares about you either anymore. You people are right there neck and neck as far as popularity with the NHL these days. So you need to stop being so arrogant. And then we get into like the really good dude lists, like NASCAR drivers. NASCAR drivers and I sort of temper myself from including these guys as professional athletes, but wrestlers, like WWE wrestlers and NASCAR drivers. Never had a bad experience with any of them. Any of them. They're nice. They get it. They're friendly. They're cool. They're nice. They're giving of their time. They understand the greater picture of why they're here. They're promoting something. This is in their benefit. NBA players, nah. Football players, nah. Baseball players, nah. Dicks. Just dicks. Just not good people. You don't want to hang out with them. That's all I'm saying. Long car ride with a 25-year-old starting pitcher? No. You don't want to do that. That guy's a dick. Trust me, he's a dick. They probably don't even know they're dicks because they spend their whole lives around people who coddle them. And people are like, oh, you're so cool. No, you're not cool. You're kind of a dick. All right, moving on. Kelvin Joseph, police are looking for you. We'll see if the Cowboys have any comment on that. Smalls is trending. Well, I don't know why Smalls was trending. I thought, what is this? Is this, why is Smalls trending? Well, Smalls is trending because of some dude named Christian Smalls. Christian Smalls is, as it turns out, Christian Smalls is a New York City Amazon warehouse worker who is turned labor leader. He is the guy who is turning the Amazon, he's trying to unionize the Amazon warehouse workers. And he is trending because he went on Fox News last night. He went on with Tucker. And people on the idiots on the left are all like, why would he go on Tucker? To which I'm like, oh, shut the hell up. This guy doesn't want to play your stupid game. This guy is representing a workforce that he believes is being taken advantage of. He's going to go on the largest viewed cable news show that there is because his job as a representative of his people is to get the message out to as many people as possible. But why wouldn't he go on with Rachel? Because nobody watches MSNBC. That's why. Don't be angry at him because he's representing his people by going on Fox News. And then you got the right. Then the right is all like, actually, I got to be honest with you. I don't know what the right hasn't really had a problem with him because he seemed to have been fairly, decently endorsed by Tucker last night. Although it was funny. He went on, I saw the clip. He went on, he's wearing his do-rag. He's wearing his black dude do-rag. It looks very much like not somebody that is typically seen on Fox News. So there you go. He's also trending because he made a statement today in regards to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the little smoke show. She's cute. Look, dude, I don't care. I do this right and left kind of thing. You idiots on the right, I ain't got time for you. You idiots on the left, I ain't got time for you. I'm in the middle, and as a heterosexual middle-aged single man, I can pretty much say that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is a hot little Latina. I think she's very attractive. I don't know if she's any good at her job. I don't know. It doesn't matter. She's a junior representative. She has no real power. She represents a sliver neighborhood in Queens, Brooklyn, Bronx, somewhere. See, I don't even know because it's not that important. But she's like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lorena Bobert and Madison Cawthorn, like she has no power, but she has been demonized by the opposite side. And thusly, they seem like maybe they must have power because they're some of the most high profile people, and they're not. They have no power. They're not taken seriously by anybody in their caucuses. So basically, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has some small issue with what Christian Smalls, the labor organizer at Amazon, is doing. And Tucker Carlson last night tried to present it as she has abandoned the workers when, she's like borderline socialist. So that's probably not good for her resume. And Christian Smalls was quick to point out, yeah, no, don't do that, Tucker. she's still on our team, and yeah, we disagree on something. So he put out a statement today saying that they're negotiating how to move forward, and there's going to be disagreements, but it certainly doesn't mean that she has turned on us. But that's what Fox News does. Just as CNN will do it on the other side, and MSNBC will do it on the other side, whatever. It's what we do now. We don't cover news. We cover divisive politics. And we cover divisive politics for people who like to be divided. We do it for people who want to sit there after work. They're already angry because life didn't turn out the way they wanted it to, and they just want multimillionaires in fancy suits to yell at them for an hour and tell them that all of their worst thoughts and all of the blame they put on others for their station in life is justified. That's what news is now. That's what news is. That's all it is. That's all it is. You're angry or you're not angry? Here's what you need to be angry about. And then just people yelling at each other. Oh, God, I'm so sick of it. I'm just sick of it. You know what I care about? I care about the price of meat. I got to go shopping today. I care about the price of being able to buy ground beef. I care about the price of gasoline. I don't give a shit about Chuck Schumer, a guy who has nothing to... I don't give a shit about Mitch McConnell. I don't. Stop it. They don't affect me. Oh, but they do. They do in the exponential. What they do is, you see, they're in charge of our policy. Nah, stop it. Shut up. Shut up. Louisville is trending. This is a crazy one. Louisville, right here in North Texas. Louisville was trending earlier today. Why is Louisville trending? Louisville is trending because, oh man, you want to hear a crazy story? You guys want to hear this? Well, why not? I'll give it to you. Louisville is trending because Texas man allegedly shoots and kills husband of his child's mother after an argument. All right, get all that. So we got some pretty non-traditional stuff going on here. So he wasn't married. He knocked a woman up. They weren't married. They have a kid together. That woman is now married, and there's a stepdad involved. And the father of the kid who knocked up the woman who is now married shot the guy that she's now married to. Happening in Louisville. Let's break this down. Let's see if we can figure out where the problem occurred. A Texas man is in jail after allegedly shooting and killing the husband of his child's mom. Wait. Yes. A Texas man is in jail after allegedly shooting and killing the husband of his child's mother. Officials familiar with the investigation said it appeared the child invited Austin Garrett Bovey, his dad, over to the house because the two hadn't seen each other in a while. Oh, man. See, I don't even know how old this kid is, but I'm imagining some little 6-year-old boy. Daddy, I haven't seen you in a while. Can you come over? And he's like, yeah. So dad comes over. Father over to the house because the two hadn't seen each other in a while. This according to investigators. The mother was fine with Bovey coming to the house to see the boy, so no problem there. Mom was fine with it. If your father wants to come over and see you, he can come over. Officials say that Bovey, 36 years old, went to the house in the 600 block of Hardy Street near East State Highway, near 121 in Main Street in Louisville. 121 in Main Street, if you're familiar with the area. Bovey and the mother's husband. Okay, so it's bio dad and stepdad. Bovey and the mother's husband. Stepdad is Trenton McCoy. He's 37. They got into an argument. I couldn't have seen that coming. Got into an argument. Then around 10:30 p.m., she said that Bovey shot McCoy in the face. Shouldn't laugh. I'm going to shoot you in the face. McCoy was taken to the hospital and put on life support. Louisville police arrested Bovey on Tuesday for aggravated assault and a deadly weapon. He was being held on $25,000 bond. Bovey bonded out of the Louisville jail on Wednesday, soon after the Louisville Police Department was notified that McCoy was removed from life support and had died. Okay, so we just celebrated Ex-Spouse Day yesterday, and I tried to give you some tips on how, as somebody who has the ex-spouse thing going on. Hold on. I want to see what that's about. That could be important. I am expecting an important Oh, my kid. Apparently my kid's off school today. Are kids off school on Good Friday? Is that a thing? That wasn't for me. And I went to Catholic school. We went to school on Good Friday. Anyway, don't. You got to know the situation, right? Like, I think that it's a lot of work if you're in a relationship where, I can just look at my own relationship with my son who just texted me. I love my son. I love my son's mother. My son's stepfather is a tremendous man who's doing a wonderful job as his. Well, he gets the benefit of being, the everyday male influence in there. And I couldn't be happier. My son loves him. They love each other. It's a good, safe environment. But I ain't going to sit around a table drinking with them and then argue about something. What? Are you out of your mind? You got to keep it light. You got to remind yourself, and this is what old Bovey, who shot the dude in the face, wasn't thinking. You got to remind yourself that no matter what is going on with you as an adult and all the baggage that each and every one of us bring to these kind of situations, we all bring baggage, whether it's because of the way we were raised or somebody else in our life who had an influence and we've been carrying this chip around forever. We got to recognize that we bring baggage and that the child doesn't really have that baggage yet. So we have to be aware of limiting the amount. We want that kid to be doing carry-on when he turns into an adult, right? We want him to have carry-on baggage. We don't want him checking trunks. We don't want him paying the extra way. We don't want that. So no matter what your feelings are, when the kid is concerned, you got to keep it light, man. You got to keep it light. You got to be nice. You got to joke. You got to be friendly. You got to be complimentary. You got to be as decent as possible. Old Bovey here, they didn't do that. I don't know why on earth. If you're going over to spend time with your son, then how did you end up drinking in the kitchen, having an argument with the stepdad? How did that spin out of control? I don't know. I'm not an expert on these things. I just saw red flags there. Like, did the kid call his dad, "Daddy, I miss you. I haven't seen you in a while. Can you come over?" Like, if my kid did that to me, I'd be like, "Miss you too. I don't know if I can come over. Let me call your mom." You got it. And I guess they said in the story that the mom was okay with it. I don't know if it was cleared with the mom. You got to make sure you got to ask the hard questions. Everything cool? If I come over, we can have a nice time. Are we going to trigger one another with something in front of the kid? You just got to be aware. And most importantly, remember, it's about baggage. It's about when that kid flies the coop, when that kid leaves and goes off into the world and he's an adult, you wanted him to be carrying on baggage, carry on only, not checking a whole bunch of trunks filled with resentment and bad experiences and bitter, hatred of people. You don't want that. So everything has to be done and thought of in the best interest of the kid. And these people here in Louisville, they didn't do that. And it's hard. It's not easy to do. It is not easy to do. You have to. I say this all the time when it comes to my relationship and how I think that at least we've been able to make it work in our situation. There's never been parking lot screaming matches and stuff like that. And it's hard. You gotta. What do I always say? I always say you gotta take a loss. You got to understand that you got to check the ego. You got to understand that your ego is not something that needs to be fed at the expense of your child or at the expense of, your ex or your ex's new husband. You got to check your ego. You got to be willing to take losses. Hey, can he do this? No, he can't, because we want to do that. So instead of going, what the fuck? You just got to go, darn it. Okay, totally get it. That's fine. Take that loss. Think, because you know what? If you've got a good person, like I am lucky enough to have, if you got a good person on the other side, they will make a mental note of that. And they will realize that, okay, next time, maybe they'll take the loss. And, you gotta just be nice. Just be nice to one another. Don't bury shit either. Don't, the elephant in the room, they need to be addressed, but there's a time and a place for that. And the time and the place is not when the kid is in the room and you're deciding you're going to now argue about, I don't know. Of course, it also is helpful if the people involved are genuinely decent people and not monsters, right? I mean, these people in Louisville, they might have just been a collection of monsters who could never in a million years even imagine saddling their own ego and taking a loss in a situation like this. And I'm not great at it. I mean, I struggle, but I think it's safe to say that I am never going to be shooting anyone in the face over something. And hopefully, knock wood, I will never be shot myself. It's just gotta be grown-ups. Dollar Tree is trending. It's another thing that's trending today. You got the Dollar Tree going on. Why? This is hysterical. I am a Dollar Tree enthusiast. Love the Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree is trending because there's a recall. Dollar Tree is recalling something. Dollar Tree, Family Dollar, they're recalling 1 million hot glue guns because their $1.25 hot glue guns might catch fire. I buy something like that from the Dollar Tree. I'm fully expecting it to catch fire. And I'm only expecting to use it once. And if it doesn't catch fire, then it's going in the trash anyway, because it's from the Dollar Tree and it's $1.25. They're recalling them. They want people to bring their $1.20. And I keep saying $1.25 because that's a bit of an issue for me. As a Dollar Tree enthusiast, I used to like going to the Dollar Tree because you go in with $10 and come out with 9 things and then still have a little bit of change left over because of taxes. Now everything at the Dollar Tree is $1.25. They have raised all of their prices by 25%. Now, why did they do this? Actually, we talked about this when it happened, when they announced it months ago. It was trending why they were raising it. This is such bullshit. So Dollar Tree, apparently their costs went up 7%. Their costs because of the supply chain issues or whatever it is, the coronavirus, their costs went up 7 cents, right? So it was no longer, they were taking, providing this much needed service of these, dollar discount stores for people who need a place to be able to buy Windex for $1 or whatever, paper towels for $1. They've providing the service, but they're taking it on the chin. They're selling things for $1 that now cost $1.07. So you're totally going to understand when we have to raise our prices. They raised their prices 25 cents. So they took advantage of the situation where they were down 7 cents. They added 25 cents and now they're up 18 cents. They have increased their profits by 18 cents on every stupid item they sell. That people, we really it was really rough for us during the pandemic. We lost on average of 7 cents per item that we sold when all was said and done. So we're going to raise our prices 25 cents. Oh, so you're not just getting even, because we could understand that. We would be like, okay, yeah, we'll gladly now pay, instead of $1 for everything, we'll gladly pay $1.07. Hell, we'll gladly pay $1.10. You know what? Thank you for being there. That's fine. You can not only get yourself back to even, but on every product sold, you can make an additional 3 cents. We don't have a problem with that. They went to $1.25. They raised everything 25%. They're getting raises. They're all gonna. Oh God. And when I say they're getting raises, I don't mean the girl in the green vest who checks you out. No, she's staying the same. She's still making $7.25 an hour. I'm talking about the dudes in the boardroom who decided, hey, we're taking it on the chin. We're losing 7 cents per item. And then somebody goes, well, let's raise the prices 25% so that at the end of the day, we can be at an 18% increase or an 18 cent profit. Oh, God. F you, Dollar Tree. Although, look at me. I'm still there. $1.25, it's still doable. And that's what they knew. They knew that $1.25 was doable and they could take advantage of that and they could make a whole bunch more money off of us, because what's a quarter, honestly? Which I suppose we could turn that around and go, what's 7 cents or what's 4 cents or whatever it was that you were taking. So you make 4 cents less per item. And to make up for that, you're going to charge us 25 cents more per item. Let me do the math here. What, 21 cents? I don't know. No, it was 7 cents. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? They're screwing us. They're screwing it, and they're making it seem like they were taking it on the chin, and they weren't. They weren't. Gilbert Godfrey's funeral was today. Gilbert Godfrey, beloved. Is he beloved? I don't know. He was. People liked him. But it's funny, I mean, I always enjoyed Gilbert Godfrey. I found him a little irritating. He's a little irritating. That voice can grip. But I always found him funny. I mean, he made me laugh. But when he died, all of a sudden, it was like, he's one of the greatest comedians who ever. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. He was funny. He was a bizarre man who was interesting, and he was wonderful in interview settings on Howard Stern, and he did a lot of voices. He wasn't one of the greatest comedians of all time. He was a comedian's comedian. Yeah, because they didn't feel threatened by him. That's why whenever somebody is described as a comedian's comedian, it's because other comedians don't feel like this guy is better than them. They just, they're comfortable watching him because it's so weird, and ultimately not. He wasn't very marketable. He wasn't, he wasn't chasing after those, Jerry Seinfeld, Jay Leno dollars. He was interesting. Gilbert Gottfried was an interesting, fun, strange man. But, in his death, it was always like, he's one of the greatest of all times. I don't know. I think we need to check that. We need to talk that one through. But his funeral was today. Gilbert Gottfried laid to rest in absolutely perfect funeral. That's how it's being described. Space laser is trending. This seems like it should be higher up. So Mega Maser. Okay. So like the South African, I don't know, they're like a scientific group that looks at stars and, tells us when shit's coming at us. They identified a space laser of unknown origin that's heading towards us. I don't know what this means. They're calling it a natural phenomenon, but they're also saying we don't know what it is. So if you don't know what it is, how do you know it's a natural phenomenon? Are you just trying to make sure that we don't all, freak out and people start jumping out of windows and we have absolute mass chaos? Let's see what this is. Astronomers have detected a powerful radio wave laser known as a mega maser in space. This record-breaking mega maser is the most distant one ever observed at 5 billion light years away from Earth. The light from this space laser traveled a whopping 36,000 billion miles. That's a number? Oh my goodness. That's a number. Okay, let's do that one again. 36,000 billion miles. Have you ever heard billion? I thought the next one was like quadrillion. I don't know what's after trillion, right? Trillion comes after billion. I didn't know that there was like a whole category for billion. Is there a category? 1,000 billion? Don't mind the smoke coming out of my ears and nostrils. I have no idea what that is. The light from the space laser traveled a whopping 36,000 billion miles. An international team of astronomers led by Marcin Glowicki observed this light using the South African Radio Astronomy Observation Meerkat telescope. All right, whatever. We're just going to blow past it. We're going to be like, okay, that's trending. There you go. They saw it. It's probably like the most important story. Like that thing's heading towards us and going to split us in half like a Sunday ham. But I'm just going to blow past it because like in the early days of the coronavirus, like before we even knew it was called the coronavirus, it was just like, and finally tonight, physicians in China have discovered a curious new disease, curious new illness, and people are getting sick. What's coming up in sports, Chip? Like they just did that, and we were like, oh, okay, interesting throwaway story. We didn't pay any attention to, and then it became like the pandemic, the apocalyptic pandemic that completely, destroyed the world for the last 3 years. So that's maybe what this is. Maybe we'll look back at me just doing the space laser story. Like PS5. Yeah, we gotta move on from the space laser story so we can talk about PS5s being back on shelves at Target. It's trending because the PlayStation 5 is back on shelves at Target. Target PS5 restock hits shelves today, April 15th. So if you're hearing this now and you want a PlayStation 5, get down to Target right now and they will all be gone. I'm so... PlayStation 5s came out like 2 years ago. and you still can't get them. You still can't get them, and it's not because they can't make them quick enough, and it's because they're doing this on purpose. I just told you about what the Dollar Tree is doing to us. We're losing 7 cents, so they're overcharging 25 cents. That's not only making up the difference, you're making a huge profit. PlayStation could make enough PlayStations for everybody that wants them. They could. But if they did that, there wouldn't be this crazy constant demand for them. So this is an artificial high. I'm done with it. I'm done. I actually have still Google alerts for PlayStations because I've been trying to buy a PlayStation 5 for my kid for 2 years now. And by the time you can finally get one easily, which, I don't know, will be like in another 18 months. By the time you can just walk into a store on a random Sunday when you're going there to buy, I don't know, some soap and go, oh, look at that, a PlayStation. I'm going to pick that up. I'm trying to get, by the time that is something that you can do, the PlayStation 6 will be coming. And be like, yeah. All right, so there you go. If you hurry right now, you can get down to a Target and be disappointed again when you learn that they're all gone. That's right. Every Target store in America is restocking PlayStations. Every Target store in America gets one. We're going to put one in every, that one gone. That one's gone. And it's not even going to be bought by a customer. It's going to be bought by somebody who works there, who, been trying to get one just like us. Stephon Gilmore is trending. Ian Rappaport, NFL insider Ian Rappaport, is reporting that former NFL Defensive Player of the Year and 5-time Pro Bowl cornerback Stephon Gilmore is signing with the Colts. 2-year deal. The former Patriot and Panthers star was on a visit this week, and he has made it official. He has signed with Indy. Pat Sajak is trending. It seemed to do a lot. Pat Sajak seems to trend an inordinate amount for somebody who appeals almost exclusively to those who don't even know what social media is. Isn't that true? Like Pat Sajak is who your nana and papa like. He's like, he appeals to he doesn't appeal to the Instagram age. He doesn't appeal. And yet Pat Sajak is always trending. I don't know what that's about. Why is Pat Sajak? Sound it out. Pat Sajak trending. Here's why Pat Sajak is trending. Are you ready to get mad? Why not? Not mad. Are you ready to just be disgusted by certain people? I'm ready to be disgusted by certain people. Come join me, won't you? Viewers have called out. They're calling out the historically offensive Pat Sajak. There are very Howard Stern, Andrew Dice Clay, Pat Sajak. Those are the truly offensive individuals that we've had to deal with these many decades. Pat Sajak is being called out. Viewers have called out Wheel of Fortune host Pat Sajak after he asked Vanna White if she watches opera naked. Okay. All right. Well, that sounds weird. That's certainly a weird thing for Pat to be asking Vanna. Hey Vanna, do you watch opera naked? Yeah. Where did this occur? Did this occur in his dressing room? Did this occur? All right, first of all, let me just jump ahead in the story. That's not what he said. That's what this bullshit news story chose to say that he said so that we would go, but naked? No, he didn't say naked. He didn't say naked. And they go on to explain exactly what he says. There's a quote here, but for the opening headline, they need to lead us on because this is what journalism does now. It's about clicks. They need to make us think that it's far more lascivious than it actually was. So viewers have called out Wheel of Fortune host Pat Sajak after he asked Vanna White if she watches opera naked. Do you watch opera naked, Vanna? That's not what he did. It's not what he did. On the Wednesday, the 13th of April edition of the long-running game show, contestant Ashley Fabian, who is a professional opera singer, won a prize of $67,410. Just as the credits rolled at the end of the show, Sajak addressed co-host White, commenting, "Are you an opera buff at all, Vanna?" To which Vanna replied, "Yes, I wouldn't say I'm a buff, but I like opera." To which Sajak then said, "Have you ever watched opera in the buff?" That's what he did. That's what he did. Fire Pat Sajak. He objectified and sexually harassed Vanna White right there as the credits rolled. You know, like at the end where it's just like small talk and the credits are rolling. People are legitimately claiming that they were offended by that. Oh, I do declare he just asked the beautiful and delightful Vanna White if she watches opera naked. That is not what he said. He did not say, do you watch opera naked? He was making a play on words based on a word that Vanna herself introduced into the conversation. So, why is that important? Because you can pull and discern the intent of the remark from that. It wasn't as if Pat was just trying to get into a conversation about Vanna watching it naked. Vanna said, I wouldn't call me a buff, to which Pat Sajak, who has a little bit of wit about him, she said buff, and he goes, have you ever watched Opera in the Buff? That's that stupid, corny dad joke. Yeah. Does it mean that Pat Sajak needs to lose his job? And he's not gonna. Let's not be stupid about it. But he is trending for that. Are you ready? Are you ready to read some of the things that people said? Some of the, oh my God, the shrieking violets, they were so destroyed by this comment. White responded no, that she hadn't. One viewer wrote on Twitter, please consider replacing some staff at Wheel of Fortune after this disgusting gaffe on the part of Sajak. People trying to be funny, but it may also be time for a replacement host. Oh my God. Fuck you. Pat Sajak ain't going anywhere. Okay, I don't even watch that damn show, but I will now start watching that show if it means supporting Pat Sajak and irritating people like you. Another commenter said, I feel like I just witnessed a Me Too moment. You feel that way? You're an idiot. Then you're a complete, if that's how you feel, you're an idiot. Let's see here. Other comment. We live in an era of sexual exploitation. What Pat said to Vanna was unforgivable. Unforgivable. Once again, let's remember what Pat said to Vanna. He said, do you like opera? And Vanna said, I like opera. I wouldn't say that I'm a buff. And then he said, do you watch opera in the Buff? Oh, the harassment! We just witnessed a Me Too moment. We just saw on Wheel of Fortune a woman be sexually brutalized right there on top. She introduced the word buff that Pat used to play off of. It wasn't. Why is that? Again, why is that important? Because it proves that his intent was not to get Vanna to start talking about being naked. Which if that were the case, then yeah, we can have a conversation about that. That's a little bit creepy, a little bit weird, but there's no way that Pat Sajak could have anticipated that Vanna would say, yes, I like opera, but I'm not an opera buff. I hate people. This is, you know what? Can we just take a moment here and think about how sad the individual who feels that they were a witness to a sexual raping on Wheel? Can we just talk about who that person is? That is somebody who is so desperate to be paid attention to. Somebody who it just feels overlooked and bypassed in their life, and nobody is listening to them. Nobody cares about them. So they need to sort of morally grandstand and find things that they can then publicly claim to be victimized by. I can't believe what I just saw. We just witnessed a Me Too movement on Wheel of Fortune. That person doesn't really feel that way. You see, that person is not upset by that. If that person is upset by that, then put them in a rubber room, because that person obviously cannot be allowed to walk among us, because the world at large must be just devastating for them. Must be just absolutely I saw that mother pick up that baby from the carriage and she did it weird. That baby is probably didn't want to be picked up and now it's see, what are these people doing? Again, I understand that it is it's what social media is. It allows really sad, broken, anonymous people to, at least in the moment that they're typing it out, to feel like I am doing something here on behalf of everyone else, and people are going to read this and they're going to go, thank God there's people like you in this world who are pointing out all of the horrible things that others are going. Vanna White's fine. Vanna White and Pat Sajak have been like best friends since like 1979. Stop it. And that's why Pat Sajak is trending. Human Satan is trending. No, I'm not talking about the people who are outraged by these Pat Sajak comment. Human Satan is trending. Oh, this guy. So some dude who goes around, no, he doesn't. I'm sorry. I don't want to misrepresent. He doesn't call himself Human Satan. Other people have deemed him the Human Satan because he's one of these body modifier guys. You know the guys. He's getting horns, and and he got he did all kinds of crazy things. He looks like a monster. He turned himself into a monster purposely through plastic surgery and stuff. He's tattooed over like 90% of his body. His face is all tattooed. He's just like he's so people say, oh, he's a human monster. He's got horns. He had horns implanted. He's one of these guys. So they call him the Human Satan. Well, he got his ears removed. Yeah, he did. He got his ears surgically removed. And when asked why he did it, he said, what? Oh, come on. I walked you people right into that joke. I walked you right into it. I'll do it again. When asked why he got his ears removed, the Human Satan said, what? Oh, it's too good. It's solid. Yeah, Ross, Human Satan. That's a good band name. So let's see this guy. Let's see what the Human Satan looks like, shall we? Let's see. Human Satan. Where is he? I got to pull him up. He sucks. I mean, he does. He just, I don't know how else to say it. This guy sucks. Why are you saying he sucks? He's just an individual making choices. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I'm going on a limb. I'm saying I bet he sucks. I bet he just sucks as a dude. I bet he's not cool to hang out with. I bet he's weird, What's wrong with being weird? Absolutely nothing. I love weird people as long as they don't suck. You can be weird and not suck. I have a number of friends who would, yeah, they would admit they're weird. Yeah, I'm weird. I do. That's weird. But they don't suck. See, but this guy, I think somebody who actively works to look like something that will make strange children cry upon seeing him. Yeah, I think that person sucks. I think that person probably sucks. So here we go. Let's take a look at the Human Satan. See what he's doing here without his ears. I want to warn you. I mean, it's obvious that he sucks, but this is disturbing. This dude looks quite disturbing. There you go. Look at him. There he is. That's not a mask or anything. That's legitimately how he looks. See on the picture on the right? He's got no ears anymore. He's got no ears. I mean, I could spend an entire show. We just talk about what do you think motivated him to do this? What do you think the deep-seated issues are? I'm not a doctor or anything, but I'm thinking he probably doesn't like himself. Probably that's where we'll jump off from. He probably doesn't look in the mirror when he was a young man and adore what he sees. Yeah, so that's him. That's the Human Satan. He doesn't have ears anymore. And once again, when he was asked, why'd you cut your ears off? He said, what? Oh, God, we're good. I'm going to get up on the stage. Yeah, Al, it's pretty horrible. That's why I say he sucks. Why are you judging people for their choices? I'm about to judge you for not being a normal individual and understanding that that's not just a choice. That's not a guy who wants to be a girl. It's not the same. That's not a woman who has decided that she is now going to leave her husband and she's a lesbian. That's not the same thing. That is not the same thing. And I refuse to believe that it's the same thing. So if you want to call me, some closed-minded son of a bitch because I think the human Satan sucks, just do it. Just go ahead. First of all, there's only like one of them. There's only one of them. It's not like I'm saying that an entire group of human Satans, the entire world population of human Satans, all 1.2 billion of them suck. That's not what I'm saying. So I'm saying that guy sucks. That guy probably totally sucks. Let's see what else. Ross Rubio. Hey, human Satan, save some boot tank for the rest of us, you lady killer. Look, if it turns out that like that guy, first of all, I look at that guy and I go, if I were to learn 5 years from now that he would turn out to be somebody who would have like dead bodies buried under his house, I'd be like, yeah, it checks out. That tracks. Yeah, that makes sense. So I'm just going by we had no idea. We had no idea that he was into that kind of thing. You had no idea. You live next door to the human Satan. You had no idea. The man had horns on his head. You had no idea. Really. What else is going on here? Good Friday closings is trending. Do we need to go through that? Things are closed, but I don't know. Who cares? Mike Bossy is trending. Hockey player, very good hockey player, 1980s hockey player, New York Islanders MVP of the Stanley Cup, won a bunch of Stanley Cups. Mike Bossy died. Mike Bossy died at 65 of lung cancer. Big New York City sports athlete, but also if you're into hockey, you remember Mike Bossy. Holy Week is trending. Okay, we know that. Hey, you guys know that it's like it's not just like for the Christians. This isn't just like Christian. It's like big Jewish time, right? Passover. I think it's also Passover, and I think it's Ramadan. Like Ramadan has been going for Islam. That's been going for like the whole thing. So it's really like a big Holy Week for all the different people who different religions. I don't know what the Buddhists are getting into this week. I don't know if it's anything for them, but I do know that it's like, obviously it's Easter, it's Passover, and it's Ramadan, and it's all happening right now. So let's just all try and get along for the next 72 hours. Huh? What do you say? We can get back to being idiots to each other on Monday, but it's a weekend. Let's just at least be let's respect our own faiths and our own religions by just leaving the other people alone for the next 3 days. Those 3 days, let them have their thing. Harry and Meghan are trending. Harry and Meghan are trending because Harry's got a new book coming out. It's unprecedented that someone at his level of the monarchy would write a tell-all book. The book is about how he was raised. It has people within Buckingham Palace freaking out. They're all worried. It has been announced through his publisher that Harry will not be discussing his uncle, Prince Andrew and the whole Epstein thing. He's not going to go there. He has a good relationship with Prince Andrew's daughter, Eugenie, and Beatrix. I don't know what is it. Maybe it's Beatrix and Eugenie. I don't know, whatever. Fergie, remember Fergie? Before she was in the Black Eyed Peas, she was married to Andrew. Fergie and Andrew have two daughters who are Prince Harry's first cousins, and apparently they're very close. They grew up together. So Prince Harry's not going into any Andrew stuff. He's not going into any of that out of respect for his first cousins, who he loves and cares about very much, at least according to the statement. He is, however, gonna take down his dad. he's got apparently, the heir apparent, Prince Charles is gonna be King of England any minute now. I mean, the Queen's like 114, something like that. I don't know. I have to check that to be sure, but she's super old. And apparently Harry's in this book. Harry's not going to be all that great to his dad. He is, however, in the book, through things that have already been released, he is going to be incredibly loving and incredibly celebratory of his grandma, the Queen. Apparently Harry loves his grandma, which is fine. You should, you know what? Everybody should love their grandmas. Grandmas are awesome. Let's see here. Prince Harry's also trending. Prince Harry is trending too. Harry and Meghan are trending, and then Prince Harry is also trending because Harry and Meghan snuck into Buckingham Palace the other day. Totally unexpected. Nobody knew they were coming. The media didn't know. They only found out after they left. But Prince Harry and Meghan snuck into Buckingham. And it's a big deal because remember, Prince Harry said, I'm not royal anymore. I'm out of this family. I'm gone. And he's like now living in Los Angeles or something like that. I don't know, wherever he's living. But he doesn't live there anymore. He doesn't want to do any of the royal duties. He doesn't. They took away his protection. So now like he's got to have like private security and all that kind of stuff because he's no longer number 6 in line. Because he disavowed all that. So him coming back to have lunch with his grandma the other day was a big deal, but they only learned about it afterwards. And apparently everyone says it was great. He loves his grandma. He loves his grandma, the queen. And grandma and Meghan seem to have a good relationship. Oh, also in this story, look, you people who've been, listening to my stupid radio shows here in Dallas, Fort Worth, or Chicago over the past 20 some odd years, you know that I have a very bizarre infatuation, interest, curiosity about the British royal family. And it's not in like I just want to live a fairy tale life. No, my interest in this group of people are more like, you're so special. I mean, that's really my how do you guys get all this? How do you keep convincing like 40 million people who live in your country that you're better than them? How does it, that's where my I'm fascinated. It's such a crazy thing. It belies all the other progress that we as a species have made as far as like being a democracy minded and one person, one vote and all that. Okay, except for the fact that in this country, which we're really good friends with, in this country, God put these people in the big rich house, and God said that they're better than you, and so you all just go, yeah, we're going along with that. I love it. Anyway, Meghan is supposedly becoming close friends with Fergie. That's right. Remember I just mentioned Fergie? She of the Black Eyed Peas, and before that married to Andrew. Apparently Meghan likes Fergie. She sees a lot of, or Fergie likes Meghan. I don't know, one of those things. I don't know. They see similarities in what they've gone through thus far. Avian flu is a thing. The avian flu is breaking out. Birds are dying all over the place. 200 plus birds have been found dead in the Cook County Forest Preserve outside of Chicago. So that's a big deal. Avian flu. Again, we're just going to move past this like one of those stories that probably going to be nothing. And then like in 4 months, I'll be doing a show like, hey, remember when there were birds on Earth and now there's no birds? That's like how this thing goes. Like today, it's just, avian flu is back and birds are dying. No big deal. We're going to be fine. 4 months from now, hey, isn't it sad that there are no more birds on Earth? That birds are now extinct. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. Let's see what else. Coach K is trending. Of course, Coach K of Duke, he retired. Anyway, he retired, and last night they threw a banquet for him. And here's the thing. So he shows up to this banquet for him. I guess he didn't show up. He was there. And everybody's like, Coach K, you're the greatest. Coach K's the greatest. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. They want him gone. It's he's been there too long. Although maybe they don't want him gone. I want him gone. I do. That's a me thing, I guess. So the guy that's replacing him as coach gave him a present at the banquet for Coach K. You know what the present was? A dog. He gave him a dog. He gave him a puppy. He's like, and apparently it was a surprise. Like, because Coach K had a dog and the dog died like last summer. And now that Coach K is retired, the new coach is like, I'm going to give him a new dog. Here's the problem with that. All right. I'm going to tell you straight up. Don't get me a dog. I love dogs. I love dogs. I will have a dog in my life until the day I die. I just like them. I just like dogs. I like being around dogs. I like the companionship. I'm a very solitary individual. I prefer dogs to human beings. However, don't you dare buy me a dog. I'm going to be stuck for the next 15 years with something that you thought was cute. I pick out the dog. If I'm going to live with my dog, it's going to be my dog. I'm going to we're going to make eye contact at the, I don't know, puppy mill or where the hell you get a dog, pound, wherever I go to pick out my dog. I am going to walk through and I'm going to look at the dogs and there's going to be a connection and I'm going to bet you don't just get to walk into my life and go, here, have this to take care of for the next 15 years. No, I'm in charge. And it gets worse. The dog that was given to him by John Shire, who's the new coach, the dog was not only picked out by the new Duke coach, they named him. Coach K got a puppy that he didn't pick out that already has a name. Dog's name is Coach. And here's your new dog, Coach. We called him Coach. His name is Coach. Yeah, he's like, Coach K's like, I really wanted a dog named Walter, but apparently you guys took that away from me too. It's a weird gift. Don't get people things that are going to live for a decade plus. Don't do it. Just do not do it. I think they'll really like a monkey. I'm going to buy them a chimpanzee. Don't do that. Don't buy people living things. If somebody's going to have another living thing in their life, let them pick it out. You pay for it. Yeah, that's fine. Hey, you want that dog you've always wanted, that $700 specially bred whatever? Here, I'm gonna pay for it. You go pick it up. That's how you do it. You let them go bond. You make it icons, bonding, whatever. All right, we're about out of time here. There's a bunch of other stuff that's trending, but not important. I skipped over dumb shit. Here's something we could go through. You know how I hate talk radio. You know how the entire idea behind this show is because I feel like talk radio in America has failed us and is also responsible for a lot of divisions that we have. The whole reason you hate your neighbor is because you guys listen to talk radio. That's it. And probably different talk radio. No, actually, if you listen to the same talk radio, then you would like your neighbor, and you and your neighbor would then plot to kidnap a governor or something. That's how that works. I hate talk radio. It's the whole reason I don't work in talk radio. I'll tell you why I don't work in talk radio, because here's the deal. If you want to work in talk radio these days, if you want to work in talk radio in America in 2022, you got to talk divisive politics. And by divisive, I mean you've got to talk a form of politics that is only going to appeal to one group of people while simultaneously super pissing off everybody else. Because radio is dying and they're not interested in having the largest audience anymore. They want a specific audience, and that audience that they've chosen that they want, especially on the AM dial, because nobody under the age of 50 listens to the AM radio. Hell, nobody under 50 even knows what AM radio is. They have determined that they want men who make a certain amount of money. And where can you find them most easily? Well, you can attract them with a certain type of politics. It's the people who watch Fox News. It's the people who do this. We want that. How do we bring that over into our dying AM talk station? And that's why everybody's syndicated. That's why they don't pay anybody on the local level. That's why when I was a kid, I had like 4 talk stations in my hometown of Chicago, and they all had individual hosts who lived in that town who do different kinds of shows, and it was all very interesting and wonderful. Now you got one guy who nobody's ever heard of outside of the fact that he's on 500 radio stations. That's that one guy that's doing 500 radio stations. Me, as a deposed radio talker, fuck that guy. You know why? Because that guy who's got 500 radio stations means that there are 499 other radio talk show hosts who don't have a job, because it's easier to just have that guy on who's going to be really mean and angry, and he's going to keep people business. So that's my problem. So that's one avenue of talk radio that is available in 2022, of which I have zero interest in. I mean, I've been look. I was pretty successful at what I did. I was pretty successful. It's not like I'm unemployable. And after my partner Kelly and I stopped doing the kind of everyday lifestyle, non-divisive talk radio like we do here, when we stopped doing that, she went and she wanted to have kids. She wanted to have a second part of her life. I would have liked to have continued in talk radio. And all of the job offers I got required me. Oh God, one guy actually said this. I said, yeah, I don't want to do that kind of talk radio. That's not what I'm into. I go, you want to just put me on the air for 4 hours and just let me be a dude and just hang out and we'll talk about all kinds of things and I'll make it interesting because I can try to do that. And one program director said to me, and this is when I quit. He said to me, he goes, come on, man, you'd be great. You'd be great at this. Can't you just fake it? I'm like, and I have a friend. Well, I have a number of friends who work in the James Parker. I do a show at James Parker every night at 9:00. But I have a bunch of friends who basically are doing that. They're just faking it. They're doing that kind of talk radio and having success. And they used to be rock jocks and they used to be this or that. But they're like, hey, man, you can make money if you just purposely try and stir the pot. If you just purposely say things that you don't even believe in, but you're going to pretend like you believe in them, and you're going to make people angry. And then those people are going to light the phone lines up, and all these guys are going to call in going, I can't believe Pelosi. And, that's just kind of, that's the secret sauce. It's all a manipulation. It's all one giant manipulation for the benefit of the people who buy commercial time. That's all it is. So that's one entire area of talk radio. The only other choice is sports. You can do sports talk. And I love sports, and I think I could do sports talk. I think one of my closest friends in the world is one of the most powerful and influential sports radio bosses, not on air. We're talking bosses, programmer, a guy who has made careers for all these, one of my closest friends in the world. If I had wanted to do sports radio, I probably could have done that, but I've never even broached the subject with him. We're still close friends. We talk every couple of days. He lives in a different city as me, but we are buddies. But I've never even brought it up. I've never asked him for a job. He's never offered me a job. And I think it's because he knows that I would hate sports radio as much as I would hate the just fake it, doing weird divisive politics and just trying to make people mad instead of trying to make them happy. As much as I would have hated that kind of radio, just being forced to do nothing but stay within the parameters of sports would be, oh God. Oh my God, that would be awful. So what is the point of me saying all this? What is the point of me going into this big conversation about the current state of talk radio? Because the Talkers Hot 100 is out today. Woo-hoo-hoo! Do you guys know what the Talkers... Actually, it's the Heavy 100. Do you guys know what the Talkers Heavy 100 is? Love it. The Talkers Heavy 100. Talkers magazine is a great magazine. It's fallen on hard times. It is an industry trade for people who do talk radio. I mean, it's almost entirely made up now of that certain kind of talk radio that I just described that I just don't have any interest in because I don't want to fight with people all day. But, there was a time when it was just really a great industry read where you could, all different kinds of people, all different kinds of perspectives, all different kinds. Right now, there's only one perspective in talk radio. But the Heavy 100 came out, and this is these are the most important talk radio hosts in America. And it is shocking that they came up with a list of 100 because I didn't think there were 100 individual people doing talk radio. Because as I said, in most cities, you have one guy who is on 500 different stations across the country. Where did they get him? So here, let's count some of these down. We'll talk about 1 through 25, and I won't spend a whole lot of time on this because they're all basically dudes of a certain ilk. Number one, most important in the Heavy 100, the biggest talk radio star of America today. Isn't even a talk radio guy. He's doing it as a hobby. It's Sean Hannity, ladies and gentlemen. Sean Hannity. That's how not important the format of talk radio is these days. Like the guy who's number one doesn't even do it as a first job. It's just something, Number two is Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey is a financial guy, financial talker. Okay, he's fine. Number three is Mark Levin. God, talk about a guy who knows how to play the game. Brian Kilmeade, another guy who is not even doing talk radio as a primary thing. He doesn't even care about the industry. He's a TV guy who is just, making another couple million because after he finishes doing Fox and Friends in the morning, he just goes and does a couple hours of radio where he stirs the pot more. Dude named Joe Madison is 5. Dana Loesch is 6. Mike Gallagher is 7. Here we go. Number 8, Tom Hartman. And let me tell you something. Tom Hartman is not the number 8 talker of radio in the country. He's not. It's just that Tom Hartman is the only liberal talk show host in the country. So I think they felt compelled to shoehorn him in here. But I don't even know I don't even know where you could hear Tom Hartman. He's a nice guy, though. I mean, I've met him. He's a friendly guy. He's a bit of an egghead, super smart. Michael Barry is number 9, and Joe Pagliarulo is number 10. There's a bunch of other people on here. Terrible, terrible people. I'm just looking at some of these names. Oh, God. There he is. There he is, Damien himself. Howard Stern coming in at 21. George Noory coming in at 22. George Noory is the guy who replaced Art Bell. He does the creepy alien stuff. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, I don't want to go in. It's such a depressing list. I just run down this list and I'm like, ooh, angry man, angry man, angry man, angry man, angry man, angry man, angry man. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me fix that. Angry white guy, angry white guy, angry white. Oh, wait, I can go even further. Angry middle-aged white guy, angry middle-aged white guy, angry middle-aged white guy, angry middle-aged white guy. Dana Loesch, angry middle-aged white guy, angry middle-aged white guy. Random black guy who is an angry black guy, but not angry in like the Malcolm X way. Angry in like the I don't know. I don't know who I'm trying to. What I'm doing. Time to pull the plug on this show. Boy. What are you going to do? I don't know. All right, everybody. I want you to have a good weekend. I want you to have a nice Easter. I want you to be cool. Be cool. You're going to get together at Easter. You might find yourself sitting across a table from somebody who you want to stab in the face with a fork. Don't do it. Understand that just because we don't like somebody in our family after these 3 years of pandemic and 4 years of divisive politics and all this stuff, we gotta can't just stab them in the face with a fork. That's what I always say. You can't just stab them in the face with a fork. I'm gonna get that on a t-shirt. Wouldn't that be a good t-shirt? There you go. Support the show if you can, please. I don't want to be begging for it at the end of the month because I will beg. Consider me your bartender, your barista. You join us every day. Give me a tip. What, you just going to sit at my bar? You can sit at my bar and you're not going to tip? It is your kindness and your courtesies that go towards us continuing to do these 2 streams every day. Stress and anxiety free. That's not entirely true. Very stressful. Wondering if we're going to make it. All right. Easter is Sunday. Today is Good Friday. Sun is out. Sun is shining. Don't think it's going to rain today. I think that rule might only apply to me in the Midwest, though, where we have 4 seasons, where it's like, this is the rainy season up there. Down here, it's just like, it's like the opening act for summer. The opening act for summer in Texas begins what? Second week of January? I don't know. Oh, you know what I didn't do? We should check one more time. Let's see what, if anything, new has been trending since. If it seems like I'm putting off ending the show, you know why? Because as soon as I finish this show, I have to go online or on the phone or whatever, and I have to try and cancel an automatic monthly debit from the Dallas Morning News that I never signed up for. I don't know if my kid did. I don't. But why would he? He doesn't care about the Dallas Morning. It seems a little bit strange. Somehow, every month, the Dallas Morning News dings me for $17. $17? I don't. And so I gotta try and cancel that before they ding me again. And I tried once before, and it like 10 minutes of me trying to figure out how to cancel my Dallas Morning News recurring debit. I quit. I was like, I can't do that. I go, are you kidding me? There is no way. They do not, they are so scuzzy. They make it so hard. So that's the reason why I'm putting off, because I got to do that right after the show. If I start doing it at like 2:30, they'll probably have me on hold for 3 hours, and then it'll be 5:30, and they'll be like, "We're sorry, we're closed for the day now," after I've been waiting on hold for like 3 hours. And then it'll be a long holiday weekend, and I don't know, they'll probably be open for business in every other aspect on Monday, but for people trying to cancel subscriptions, yeah, they'll take a long 4-day weekend, and then before you know it, they've debited my account again, and I'm in for another month. Yes, I should have done this earlier. I should have started working on this weeks ago. And I did, but it was just such a hot... Ugh. All right, Easter is trending. That's a big thing. Buxton is trending. Why is Byron Buxton? Is it Byron Buxton? Yeah. Byron Buxton hurt himself. Oh, geez, here we go. Byron Buxton. Can this guy please stay healthy? No, don't, because I don't want the Twins to be good. Poison pill. What is this? Poison pill. Breaking news, Twitter has rebuffed Elon Musk's takeover bid with a so-called poison pill that would flood the market with new shares if he buys 15% of its stock. Okay, I'm not sure. I don't know how that stuff works. Carrier Dome. Breaking news, the Carrier Dome is no more. Syracuse has negotiated a settlement with Carrier, and naming rights have been granted to JMA Wireless. Oh, so the Syracuse Carrier Dome. There you go. USFL on NBC is trending. This is interesting. Where'd it go? USFL on NBC is trending. When does the USFL season start? This is like start this weekend? It wouldn't start on Easter weekend, would it? Is that a thing? Did somebody say spring football and free pizza? Show us how you're celebrating week 1 of the USFL season by tweeting USFL on NBC for a chance to win free food delivery. Well, when does it start? When does the new USFL start? I'll stare at that. I'll give that a look. I don't care. There's nothing new happening. It's that time of year. It's a Friday. Nobody's gonna make any news on a Friday. A Friday of a holiday weekend, no less. Go out there, have fun, love your family, eat a lot of food. Praise Jesus, if that's your thing. Celebrate Ramadan, if that's your thing. If you're a Jewish person, I don't really know what goes into Passover. Whatever. Do it. Do whatever you need to make it through this awful existence we call life. I love you all. Tip the show. Help out the show if you can. I'll see you next week on Monday at high noon. And then we'll also come back and we'll do a pillow talk on Monday. Oh, and Kelly will be on Mondays. Kelly Moore Mondays on Pugs and Parker proudly present Pillow Talk on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. Have a good weekend, Leslie. Bye, JBM. JBM says, don't call DMN, call your bank. I did that already. And the bank's like, man, we can't cancel it. We can only dispute it. You have to call them to cancel it. What's that about? Right? JBM, I thought doing it through the card holder was the way to do it first. And they told me after waiting online for an hour yesterday, we can't actually cancel that. They will still be able to debit the recurring payment. All we can do at that point is dispute it. I know. Said to be on guard, that is understood. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort. JBM says, hey, Jeff Glenn, Pug said he wants a pet pig. I think we should get Petunia the pig delivered to him. Hey, you want to know something? That might be the exception to the rule. You want to send me a pig? That is absolutely fine, because a pig isn't a dog. A dog is different. They're shaped differently. I don't know what a pig is. A pig to me. Well, I'm not going to be able to pick out a pig. You know what I mean? So a pig might be a goldfish too. You want to buy me a goldfish? I guess when I was talking about the guy who bought Coach K a dog and how that is a terrible gift to get somebody, you let them pick out their own dog, and then you certainly let them name their own dog. I think a pig might be a pig might be all right. If you want to give me a pig, I mean, unless I get this pig and then I realize, oh, there are way cuter pigs out there. Like, if that's the deal, then, but as it stands right now, pig is a pig to me. All right, bye, everybody. Happy Easter. Tip the show if you can. I am on a never-ending quest.